Well, hello and welcome to Material Mondays. Welcome to today's session. So we're back on this piece and it has moved on. I've been working on it over the last couple of weeks, and I think it's important though that you were able to see how you can start off a piece of fabric and start painting it and doing designs on it, which is how these bits were birthed, and they were all painted prior, and then over time they've found their way into projects because of the colours that I happen to be working with. So let's have a look and see what I've done so far. So in the last video that you would have seen me working on this, I was working on this bit. So this has been attached. What I'll probably have to do is just secure that. I've decided that it's going to sit like this. It's going to be hanging. I still haven't yet decided whether I want to create a backing or put it in a frame. I might just create a backing, but we'll see. I don't have to think about that right now. Okay, so I liked the idea of having the beads hanging down, and as I'm doing this and just looking at it, I'm thinking I might have just go through my stash and see what I can have to add just at the end of each of these. The other thing I've added is the beads across using the white and the yellow here, and then I've added some green which picks up some of the green in these top pieces here. The other thing I've done, which is very slight, which you know it's a lot harder to see, but as we come in to this middle section here, I've added some stitches along these sides. So what I'm going to do today is add stitches here. I'm going to secure this piece. I'm going to take you out again. I am not feeling like, oh, there's something that I've missed. I'm not feeling that, so I might just add, just on the edge here, some stitching. Yeah, I'm not feeling that there's anything that I've missed. So what I will do once I've finished, once I'm satisfied that everything's done, I would again just sit on it for say a week or two while I find the fabric that I want to use as a backing. But I'm not going to worry about that today. I'm just focusing on the things that I need to do now. And the other thing, as I'm looking on here, I'm thinking I might add some stitching here, here and here. So I've got a few bits to get on with, and just again, just to reinforce, but just to say, you know, sometimes you just have to sit on a piece and wait with it while either ideas come or you're working with a particular fabric that you think, oh, that might be useful there. So I'm going to get on and you'll see me working on the next piece. So I'm going to tie this off. Okay, so I'll do this bit first. It's only a very thin bit here, and I think it's fraying, so I'm not sure how much of it I'll be able to stitch into. might not be able to stitch into it. It's because the there we go. Okay, so let us get on with this bit. I'm using, it's like an off-white embroidery thread, and I have just taken one strand. When I'm stitching like this, I always just take one strand and then double it. So you're not necessarily going to see let's get in a bit closer for you. There, it's as I said, it's just a very thin piece, but I know it's there, so it's like, and you can see it, so that's cool. Usually what I do to one side, I'll do to another, depending on what it is. When I was doing the beading, a bit further down, I liked the different look there. Plus the space on this side is slightly wider. I was looking at this side, and this side has got a line of white, so I'm thinking I'm just going to do the opposite side, and it's creating so much, it's not creating so much problems, but it's hard to get through that particular. I'm probably using the wrong needle. Probably need one of my other needles that hasn't got, this one has got like a, yeah, look at that, that one's going through nicely. But they're thinner and more pointy. Sorry, yeah, thinner. This one has got kind of like a ridge on it. It's got a point, but it's thicker. Anyway, I'm going to continue and just work down here. I'll see how it looks at the end, and I'll change my needle if I need to. Well, I will change the needle because this one's not going through that side very well. So this is the thread, and all I want is one strand, so I just identify the strand and then I pull it through. You have to be careful sometimes, it sometimes knots. Okay, and that's what's left. Okay, so we're going to change out a needle. Going to come out. See, having the right needle makes a world of difference to your project. These needles are thinner, so go through a lot easier, but you have to be careful because they can break. I've had several needles break on me. Okay, so I've done that. I'm going to take this, rather than come out again, I'm going to just take it through and go along here. I think with a piece like this, with so many elements on it, you do have to take your time, and like I do with quite a few of my projects, just take a step back and then come back to it, because you can kind of get overwhelmed with, so let me turn that off, you can get overwhelmed with the different colours that are coming your way, and there is a particular story that is being told as you put these pieces together, and sometimes you don't necessarily always know what that story is. I just know that I need to add these elements together and continue until it feels complete. So the last time I worked on this, I wouldn't have known that I was going to put these beads in the particular spots that they're currently in. Just like it was only when I came back this time that I realised that I wanted to have something at the end. Now I may not have the thing that I'm looking for, I just have to now spend some time, and we can spend some time looking through some of the supplies. It has to be something that I have more than one of, obviously, to go at the bottom or alternate. But I only knew today that that's something else that I was going to incorporate, because I thought it was nearly finished. But perhaps once I add those bits, it will tell me that it is finished. Each piece is about enjoying and being in the moment of what you're doing. And just relaxing into the rhythm of the stitch and taking your time. Okay, so I've just added a little stitched effect just going out from the centre here. Now, let me have a look in my bead selection. These aren't seed beads, they're just slightly bigger than seed beads, and I was debating last time in using these blue beads around the middle, but looking at them now I'm thinking no. Let me see these other blue. No, the red? No, I'm not going to mix the red. Alright, okay, so I'm going to get out some other beads and we are going to see what we can find that will fit along here. Okay, so I've got 5 containers that I'm just going to glance through and see. I was looking at these ones and I was thinking the beads are too close to have them at every point, but maybe every other point. Again, I was saying, you know, thinking if you alternate, so then you would be able to fit them in. I need to put this flat so that I can get a good idea. And that's the way that you, well, that's the way that I work through. I'll see if it fits. and if not, we will use something else. I think it's too big, but I do like, I'm going to leave them for the minute. I've had these beads for a while. It's just like, when am I going to get to use them? Maybe I still can. Maybe that's not a bad... I'm going to have to pull it out. I might have found them already. I can't think of anywhere else that I would use them, but I do like them. And maybe what I'll do is that too much? Just like, no. But sometimes you just have to, you know, like go with some things, experiment and just play. What I'm thinking of doing is, where they're too close together, I will put some extra beads so that they can be spaced out a bit more. And then they would fit. I don't need those two at the end, but it could be something like, so that side's okay, that one could be just a bit lower, maybe that one as well. So that side's fine. I could do that one longer. Right, so that's a possibility. So I'm just going to put these to the side for the moment. I do want to use them, but I'm just going to check and see what else I have. It has to be a colour that would correspond, so as I'm opening this I'm thinking, I'm not sure with that. Got this, or it could be like that. Oh, how about the black? Alternate as well. The holes are at the side. I think the red makes a statement. Oops. Maybe I've got enough for every point. Actually, I do like that because it picks up the black. I really wanted to use the red, but this is feeling. See if I've got enough. The red, I like them because of the shapes and the circle shapes. I like the simplicity of the black. Maybe these are the two that I do alternate. Maybe I do, yeah. Yeah, that would work here. I like this. I'm thinking that, not so many reds. You've got the blacks there. I like this. I like this better than having so many. Alright, let's have a look in the others. I think I'll go with that. But let's look in the others. These are chains. Oh, I've got some smaller. Oh, actually, look. Actually, I think we found, yeah. I think we found the one. Actually, that might stay there. I've got these smaller ones. They're a bit more delicate. That's what I think. This is what I think I will do as a layout. So let me put the rest away and we'll get on to stitching these on. You know what I might use right at the end? One of these, or a seed bead. One of these red beads or a seed bead. Okay, let me put these away. Okay, let's thread up. You're done. Let me come out a little bit, even more, so you can get a good full picture. Okay, so I really do like this area. I'm thinking of putting some pale blue up here. Just as again, it's just pale blue. I was looking at these and maybe thinking they could have something, but I'm not sure. I've got some pale blue beads in here, but I want it to be this exact colour, which I'm not sure that I have. Let's have a look here. Maybe. No, it's a different, it's the colour of the thread, similar colour to the thread. But I'm going to sit with this, and I may not add any other beads. It might just be some stitching that I add, and I do want to start thinking about the backing. I like the frayed edges here, so I might try and fray some of the rest of them and incorporate that into the piece. We've got fraying on this side, so maybe taking some of these bits and fraying them. Yeah, I really like this. This middle section is complete for me. I like this look. I often like having beads hanging off the end, but once I've got the back in, I'll be able to see whether I want that to happen. At the moment I'm thinking yes, maybe even in just the same kind of way, just have like 3, who knows, we'll see. So it's this area up here now that maybe I just incorporate the stitching, that would be easier. And I'm just going to leave these 3 beads here. But they would need to be elsewhere as well. So again, I'm going to just think about it. It's these beads from, are they? Is it these beads? No, it doesn't look like it. They're, oh yes it is. They looked lighter. So I may just carry 3 and 3. Yeah, I've got the right needle for it. I might just do that now actually, just with this thread. And then I'm definitely going to put it down after I've worked on a piece for quite a bit. It's good to just take a step back and then when you come back you can get a clearer picture of what you want to do, how you want to continue. Okay, so I'm just going to add 3 beads here and 3 sets of 4 beads. Okay, alright, so it's getting there. I'm thinking a red thread, detail up here, some sort of detail. Okay, so what we're going to do is stop there for now. As I say, you really do need to kind of come away, well I need to kind of come away and then come back, but I'm thinking red thread. I might work on this during the week and then you'll see it next week, or next week we'll look at some stitches. Yeah, next week we might look at some stitches, because we could add some different stitches in here, or we could just keep going with the straight stitch and just do it in different ways. Yeah, so I hope you have found that useful. We touched on a couple of things that was an issue for, well, not an issue for me, but the needles, having the right kind of needle. Now I usually just buy packets of needles. I'll maybe even show you that in another session, but I'll show you some of the actual tools. But I'm always buying different packets of needles, and I've got some seed bead specific needles that would handle all of these beads, but would probably have an issue with the thickness of the layers that it's having to go through. So with the denim you need one that's going to go through thicker cloth, but those are then going to be usually the thicker needle, and you're not going to be able to do the seed beads through them. But so that was that, and just again just taking time to so that was the needle and the beads, the needle and the fabric, and then just taking time to enjoy the process. And it isn't until you kind of play about with it, you know, it took me a while to kind of decide, and just as well I had these beads. Now I was thinking of what to do up here, but I'm thinking of bringing the red in the embroidery thread up in here. So yeah, I hope you found that useful. Oh yeah, and the blue. So maybe looking for a blue to incorporate in the beads, but in the meantime I've added the 3 sets in each circle. I'm not going to worry about the bottom yet until I've decided on what backing I'm going to use. I think I've probably got some more of this fabric that I had dyed, so I may use this fabric as a backing. We'll see if I've got the size. Yeah, so we're going to leave it there, and I hope you have fun this week with your stitch projects, and do let me know what you're getting up to, and if this has inspired you to do any other particular types of stitched work, then you know, do tag me on my Instagram. And yeah, have a blessed week.